this evening to bring you 4 amazing women that are doing amazing things in the world, and we're going to hear about it tonight. We have a group of women called the Evolutionistas. One of them was going to look very familiar to you. Sheila Cash is often here on Enlightened World Network. Her colleagues, Aurora Pagonis, Janet Grace, and Pleasance Hansen. And we're going to take some time. They have already created a video about the new human and the new genius in a program that they are birthing called Birthing Whole Spectrum Leadership. It's a 12-week incubator and mentorship program to ignite new conscious leadership through the evolutionary impulse. I have so many questions. Cannot wait to hear more about this, but we're going to go ahead and get started with your video. That works for you.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Let me check one thing. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, wait a minute. Where's the video? It was just there.
There it is.
There we go. Goodness gracious.
Welcome you to this masterclass called Embracing the New Genius and Rising to the Next Level of Leadership. And we have a juicy program for you today, and we want to just invite you to recognize that it was the evolutionary impulse that brought you to us today. And we're going to be bringing in and introducing you to some terms you might be familiar with, and maybe some terms that you're going to get so energized by that you're going to want to use them, and you're going to want to play more in this field of, wow, that felt so amazing that I want to know more about that. So I want to welcome Sheila Cash from the East Coast of the United States. And I'm Janet Grace from Big Bear Lake, California on the West Coast. Aurora Pagonis from Byron Bay in Australia. And Pleasance Hansen from New Zealand. We all welcome you. Big Evolutionista, hello, 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 hello. So I also just want to invite you to, if you have any questions or things throughout the webinar, through the masterclass, if you want to put some things into the chat box, one of us will be answering some of your questions or inquiries. So I'm just going to start by introducing myself. We came together through a beautiful gathering of extraordinary like-minded beings a year and a half ago in Barbara Marx Hubbard's program called the Evolutionary Ambassador Academy. And at the time, I'm a spiritual life coach and an author and a speaker and a teacher. And I've been on this path most of my life, many, many decades, but I'm not going to share that with you now. But when I got the call from Barbara that she was putting this academy together, there was just an absolute yes in my heart. And I didn't even know that I was looking for something more expansive in my life. My life coaching practice is very full. I speak all over the world. I lead sacred retreats, but this invitation just hit me in the heart. So, you know, as you're listening this evening, listen for and feel into what is happening with your heart. What's happening with your being as we start to share some of these processes and start to share some of these concepts and principles. And it was an absolute yes for me. And we started on Valentine's Day in 2019, and we had Barbara with us for the first 8 weeks. and now she's an angel amongst us. So we are very excited to be continuing the aspect of her work. She's written over 26 books. She's a brilliant conscious evolutionary, and her legacy lives on in this program, and we're just grateful that we found each other and that we're going to be presenting this next generation of her work to you this evening, and then sharing some of our other work throughout the evening. So yeah, jump on in, another Evolutionista.
Hi.
Well, I'll jump in. It's Aurora Pagonis here from Byron Bay in Australia. I've just been allowing and accepting our participants to come in, so hence my hesitation. A good morning, a good evening to you all. And for me, when I was really feeling the calling a year and a half ago I had this yearning inside of myself for the next level of my own evolution of leadership. I couldn't quite name what I was looking for, and yet now I can see and I can name that what I was yearning for was another level of wholeness. And in the invitation to join Barbara and what ended up being another 36 evolutionary leaders from across the globe, in response to this inner yearning, this co-creation and this collaboration that we're going to share more about today was formed, and something new has been birthed. And for me, having spent 8 or 9 years specifically working with feminine intelligent leadership, working with women, thousands of women across the globe in mastery groups, and prior to that having a very long, dedicated and wonderful career in corporate business, being able to hold both consciousness and business started to merge in a new way. And I'm exhilarated and extremely excited to be sitting with all of you today and with my beautiful Evolutionista sisters on this call. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
And kia ora, as we say here in New Zealand, be well, be whole. My name is Pleasance Hansen, and I had joined this group too, this amazing group of women with Barbara's Academy last year, beginning of 2019. And there was something about it. When I first heard about it, I had a feeling that nothing was going to stop me from getting to it. And it was partly what she talked about in terms of how she saw the world, what she could trace around human evolution throughout billions of years, ending up with us at this very point in these remarkable times, these unprecedented times. And I just felt and knew I had to be there. And for me, I'm someone that's been a social activist and a social catalyst most of my life. I've done many different things and taken on big challenges. And the current one is taking on the challenge of what we can do in our political systems, speaking from New Zealand, what we can do in our political systems to bring about transformational change. And what Barbara was able to amplify and bring out in me was an awareness of what New Zealand is about in the world. And it helped me then become even more effective in an unexpected role where I was asked and invited to be the campaign convener for the Greens, the Green Party in New Zealand, which was in government, which we're hoping gets back into government because we have an election here in New Zealand tomorrow, Saturday the 17th, a few weeks before the election in the States. And we're so hoping that our transformational political party, the Greens, continues to be part of the government in New Zealand, and that we continue to have a progressive transformational approach to climate change and to inequality and many other topics. But I was so lit up about what Barbara and what the Academy could offer me. And then out of that has come this amazing collective with the other 3 Evolutionistas, where we've developed something for you, which we'll be very happy to talk to you about shortly. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sheila Cash, And I'm the new human master coach. I have authored a couple of #1 best-selling books in the field of conscious evolution, and had been teaching high-level skills and capacities that serve this rapidly evolving paradigm that we are in, especially this year. And, you know, I had started off in meditation groups and sensory development on the global stage early on in the field. But I always knew that there was something more to the picture of connection in the universe and how to reach fulfillment at a bigger level. And I stayed in those programs for years, you know, and they were serving the universal connection and even many progressive local groups that nurtured personal growth as well. And, you know, I had ticked off this list of goals and found wonderful success in many areas. But there was still something more that kept knocking on my knowing, I like to say, on my knowing. And it was that missing thread of alignment that could take me from the inner all the way to the outer, and that matched my authenticity and my heart's desire to the connection with others at the global level. I've searched for that for many, many years. And, you know, I was looking for that development within the biggest picture, something that could really align all the pieces together. I'd known about Barbara when she led a group in the DC area in the 80s that was called the World Future Society. But it wasn't until I got to mentor and study with her privately that my life was really catapulted right into the middle of the big picture. And that's what I had been looking for a very long time. And the experience of immersing in that evolutionary impulse at that level in real form, so not just in thought or meditations, was literally a spine-tingling chapter for me. And it's only continued, really, to bring further revelations and visions ever since. So I would love to move right in and to talk about being in the right place and why you might be here. So you are in the right place if you're feeling that same calling to belong, to really belong in a like-minded community at a new level, a brand new level. If you are yearning for deeper conversations that really matter. And if you've reached a plateau in your growth, you're just feeling that, you know, what else is there? There's something more, and you're ready for that expansion. And if you're ready to activate your vision, to actually activate now and to come together with others and create those projects that you've been dreaming about for a very long time, then you're in the right place tonight.
Thank you so much, Sheila. And again, a continued welcome for those who are arriving on the screens from across the globe. We're very, very pleased to be holding this container for all of us to be co-creating together. I might just ask, I think we need to mute somebody there. Okay, lovely. And what I would just love, we'll be together now probably for another 50 minutes or so, is just to really invite all of us to let go of anything else that's happening and just come into presence. Because some of the evolutionary catalytic points that we'll be speaking into today not only have an opportunity to enlighten and inform, but really the invitation here is for us to open together and to activate, to really ignite what we're speaking into today of the new genius. And so I ask that you switch off your mobile phones, and I would actually love to invite everybody to take a beautiful, big, unified breath in before we continue and go into the sharing. So let's just all take a beautiful, long, deep breath in through the nose. And a long sighing breath out. knowing that the greater intention here for us today is that deepest level of connection, the deepest level of connection with ourselves, the deepest level of connection with one another. And knowing in only the naming of that it's already having ripple effects out beyond. Thank you.
And I'm also going to invite all of you to stay right to the end, because right at the end we have an awesome gift for you. We have something that will give you the inside track to some of the languaging that we're using, and something that will be a very helpful guide in terms of your own thinking about what we're offering. So please stay right through to the end. And now we are going to talk about 4 evolutionary catalysts that our master program is offering you. The first one I'll be talking to, first next level impact, the next level leadership, next level service, and co-creating collective. So the first one I'm speaking to, next level impact. And this is about attuning ourselves to and staying open to what's actually going on in the world right now. In this most remarkable year, 2020, a palindrome, 2020 often seen to be a word that suggests hindsight as well as foresight. And we have all of that happening in 2020 as we're about to come into possibly the most pivotal decade this planet and human beings have ever seen. And if, like me, you have a yearning and an ache to do something and to contribute, this is our invitation for you today to consider what it is we're offering you. And just to go a bit more deeply into that, being aware of a pandemic that was so unexpected, being aware of political systems, in some cases breaking down quite dramatically, in other cases trying to transform themselves to get to another level. Being aware of the movement of hundreds and thousands of millions of people across the globe taking to the streets to bring attention to racial violence, violence against women, the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter, the thousands of young people and people like Greta Thunberg who are so aware of the state of the planet for them and what they're looking to, or what they are hoping they're not going to be looking to in their future. So staying aware of all of those aspects of this year and becoming present to us being in the middle of a planetary, a global reset. And we are here to help make that shift. We were born for these times. It's no accident that we are alive at this stage. And it's really up to us to allow the evolutionary impulse, as we call it, to prompt and guide us to take the next step and to move to the next level to have even greater impact. So that's what I would like to present to you in terms of our current context. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pleasance. And I'm not sure what happened to our slides, but this next level that I'm going to be speaking into is actually the next level leadership. And what I want to speak about is that defining the new genius leadership is in every single area of our lives, really allows us to take personal responsibility for the things that are in our current reality, our relationship with ourself, our relationship with our family and our community and the globe, our relationship with Mother Earth. These, on a personal level, it's really taking things to a deeper and higher level of integrity. And we've all been given this precious gift called 2020. So we have all been really invited to come home to ourselves, maybe in a way we've never, ever even considered, never, ever had an opportunity to do that before. And in this new genius, this embracing of the new human, the new way that we can really catalyze and rise to the next level of leadership in all areas of our lives, first and foremost, we have to start with ourselves. So we're definitely going to be sharing with you many opportunities to examine, to go deeper, go higher into how it is that you relate to yourself and the world around you. And also, one of the other areas, since I'm going to just touch on a couple areas right now, one of the other areas that I would love to invite you to really stay curious to and let the bubbles of invocation kind of arouse you, as Barbara would call it, vocational arousal, and really feel into some of the dreams that you've had for maybe creating a legacy of love that you would love to leave behind, your own love print. It really awakened in me when I was in the academy last year. It awakened in me, what is it that I would love to be known for? And I've been a very successful entrepreneur my entire life. And I was looking for that next level, but I was also didn't even know that my soul was searching for a way that this next level of contribution was actually going to be the legacy that I get to leave behind. So as you're listening to this and then, going deeper into our offer of our program, what is it that you would love to be known for? What legacy of love would you love to leave with your heart print, your love print, making a contribution to the success of humanity, the success of this planet, and the things that matter most to you? And so we dive deep into what are the things that that really wake you up at night, that really rub you the wrong way. There's certain areas, and we'll go deeper into that as we go on throughout this evening, and then in sharing with you about the program.
Thank you, Janet Grace. And I'd like to talk about the point of the new genius and how the new genius arises from pure alignment to the evolutionary impulse. Those of you that have been around in the field of conscious evolution, and certainly around in my groups, have been hearing me say this term, evolutionary impulse, for many, many years, 10 or 15 years. Some of you may have never heard that term before. And I just want to give you a brief insight into the evolutionary impulse. It really is that it's the life impulse, that impulse that keeps your heart beating. It's what gives you your heart's desire. Your heart's desire is very unique to you, but it's not random. It has a very specific purpose, both in fulfilling your own purpose as well as fulfilling your place in biggest picture of all. And that's what fulfillment is. That's the secret. The evolutionary impulse has a bird's eye view on all that has come before and all that is yet to come. And the way that this grand picture is organized is through giving each person a desire to create in your own unique way. Within this picture are also others who are wanting to create in the same areas of the big wheel of creation. And that brings synergy. It brings amplified energy to what you have and to the world. So the evolutionary impulse has a stake in how you align. And the new genius is all about this alignment. It's your alignment to yourself, your alignment to others, to other people, to projects that need your unique thoughts and skills to come to fruition, literally for the benefit of humanity. When I first heard Barbara talk about genius, and this is one of the terms that she used, genius and the new genius and joining genius. And when I first heard that, I thought she was referring to some kind of, very intellectual types of people. But I quickly learned that what genius meant to her and the way that she was using it, it was about the uniqueness that each person brings. It's just your unique gifts and skills, whether that's in art or environmental awareness, or maybe you're an animal whisperer, or that might be in the field of business or education. And it means that each of us has our unique gifts and thoughts, and that becomes your service to the world. When you take the steps in to join genius, which is coming together with those of like mind and co-creating and bringing your creations out into the world, that is your joining of genius, which is particularly relevant in 2020, 2021, and beyond. And, I just want to say, too, that, though I had known this for many years and I've gotten in many places of alignment in my life through specific deep attunement practices, and I had sorted through relationships and jobs and creative projects, I still had a longing to really resonate with others at a new level, at really an unknown level, not just once in a while, but to really resonate in bringing creations into the world. And not the world that I'd come from in the past years. I had sorted through all of that. I wanted to be in community with others that were also ready for that next step. Not the old, but the new, the next chapter. And I had taken many courses, been in conscious community. I had come from a left brain background and had a degree in business management. And then later, while I was raising 3 kids on the soccer fields, I began right brain practices of sensory development. But these eventually became the skills of the new human. And through my own teachings, I had discovered that the greatest downloads weren't coming from the left brain or the right brain. They were coming from the whole brain and from whole brain attunements. And this became so clear. And this attunement to whole brain practices was a game changer. This is where whole spectrum living comes in. And this is how it is fueled through the evolutionary impulse. Once you step into that level of attunement and alignment in your life, this depth of connection with the evolutionary impulse, it opens doors in your vision that you may have never experienced before. So when I got that opportunity to mentor with Barbara, I could feel it in my cells. that this was that leap in consciousness that I'd been waiting for, and I was so right about it. Joining Genius and experiencing that synergy of creating with like-minded people and community catapulted not only my business and my creative projects too, but my personal attunement as well. And so this attunement, this alignment with your true authenticity, and through the evolutionary impulse and with joining Genius in your areas of passion with other conscious people, can result for you, as it resulted for me in an incredible few years past, that brings us up to this moment now. My Evolutionista sisters and I regularly experience, we meet at least every week. We have been for the past year or longer, a couple years. And we experience being in that flow of creating and accessing thoughts and visions that we hadn't had on our own. So here we are, ready to share with you all of that and all that we have learned. And I'm going to pass it off to you now, Aurora.
Thank you so much, Sheila. And I was just feeling into this wholesomeness that you were speaking about, the whole brain. And as an extension of that, the invitation for many of us who are here together today to really take that now into wholesome living and wholesome leadership. You know, for me, very much on my path, I sort of had the opportunity of really exploring what we might call the this and that, or the almost the dualistic opposites, the seemingly opposing opposite. I'm putting them in inverted commas. I'm not being sort of like kangaroo ears. Would somebody let Don into the room? Thank you. And those are seemingly opposites of business and consciousness, you know, of the inner and the outer, of, you know, science and spirituality, of business and love. You know, these seemingly opposing forces that I had an opportunity of really exploring in business and consciousness, as they started to meld together in more wholesomeness, I started to recognize this intelligence that started to rise within me that was not available to me before, when I was playing in the this and the that. And in that experience of more inner wholeness, what I started to discover as I started to play more deeply, more consistently through conversational intelligence and sharing of genius with my evolutionista sisters, in this consistency, a new intelligence started to become available in the center of our space as a co-creation that was not available to me on my own. So there was a sense of activating my personal genius, which each of us hold uniquely. And then in the gathering, and this is my point number 4, co-creating with the collective, in the gathering of the collective, from this place of genius, a new intelligence started to form. And the experience, I'm doing this with my fingertips because it's palpable. The experience I started to embody, not only experience, but embody and make of my own, was that almost the genius, my gifts, my strengths, what I'm now calling my superpowers, became more amplified, became more activated. And so the invitation for us to come together in collective, to come together in the true sense of co-creation, because I played in many ways in co-creation before, but working from a place of this new genius that we're speaking to, activating through the evolutionary impulse, which is life itself, and actually being in the willingness to explore the natural selection of what happens when our genius weaves together, just like nature. And what started to open up for me was this understanding that when we look at nature and we look at all of life, it has a way of interplaying through its genius without even thinking about it. And so we start to have this opportunity of starting to come into alignment with our uniqueness in this collective genius that only will now, I understand this now, will be activated through us coming together in co-creation. And so our willingness to co-create more fully and wholesomely with ourselves and with each other will absolutely catapult us and catalyze us forward. And the new leadership, this new wholesome leadership, is now has the ability in this new genius to be able to vision into the future so that we can start to bring forward the solutions that are going to be required to move us forward as humanity and to move us forward on whole. So, you know, often I know that most of you that have turned up and are here on this call are holding a level of leadership at some level. You know, traditionally we've gone into the past and we've used history to support us. We're in a completely new landscape now. And so our willingness to embrace new capacities and to embrace those new capacities in this place of co-creation is the way forward, and also an opportunity for us for our next level of evolution. I'm just tuning into my Evolutionista sisters to see if there's anything else you'd like to share before I pop the screen back up again. Is there anything that feels alive that wants to be shared before I move on? Oh, good. Okay. Oops. Let me get my screen back up. There's beautiful Barbara, by the way. She's obviously wanting to be known. I'll try again. Okay, here we are. Just gone through those 4. So can everybody see that on the screen?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Evolutionistas would love to share with you that we are today launching the New Genius program. And what's so exciting is because through our co-creation, we have embodied many of these steps of what we're going to be inviting you into in this 12-week incubator and mentorship program. And when often you think of the word incubator, you might think of a business incubator in terms of the growth path, which absolutely it is. But also it's an incubator to become more attuned with the evolutionary impulse and to also start to tune into the co-creative and wholesome principles we spoke about. I'm going to pass over to Pleasance to share a little bit more about the program and the different pillars.
Yes, so here are our 5 pillars. And as you'll see, there's a progression because the very first part of it is becoming present to the evolutionary impulse in your life. And as Sheila said so beautifully before, the evolutionary impulse has a stake in how we are aligned to our higher purpose. And what we'll be doing in this process here is working with you so that the evolutionary impulse becomes very alive and vivid for you, and you really deepen your connection with it. And in so doing, your own unique genius is amplified as well. So that's the first part. That's the first part of this, the Global Evolutionary Leadership course, to inspire that and have that happen. The second part is then to move into what is your personal evolutionary leadership signature? What's the essence that you offer as an evolutionary leader in these times? And each of us, simply because we're alive and conscious and aware, are evolutionary leaders, regardless of the sphere we're in, regardless of the range we work within. So that part is about evolving your personal evolutionary leadership and taking it to another level. And then here is the really exciting part. And this is what we've experienced within the own incubator of the Evolutionistas amongst ourselves. This is where you make the jump from your individual genius to the collective genius. And you find people, you find peers within the master program, and you connect genius to genius. And from there, you begin to co-create inspired evolutionary action to start to bring forth brand new initiatives and projects that the world is needing so much right now. So that's the fourth part, developing collective genius in action with your peers. And then right towards the end, and this is like the final 2 sessions in the program, you will launch your project and you will show us the evolutionary expression at the genius level. So those are the 5 pillars within our master program. And the 5 pillars we've identified that will help anyone coming and joining with us to really create global evolutionary leadership at a different level in these unprecedented times. So I'll now pass on to Sheila to give more of the practical details about it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Pleasance. So the four of us have been as we unfolded here. We've been meeting together for a very, very long time, going so deep into the impulse and really attuning to what is needed at this time, what is needed for our future, what is needed particularly this year and next year. Next year is going to be just as important as this year is from an evolutionary perspective. We together bring over 80 years, which is hard to believe, of collective evolutionary coaching experience to what we have allowed to arise between us and amongst us of an incredible 12-week program ahead. Starting in just 2 weeks, we are going to be leading a group of evolutionaries through this exclusive 5-pillared approach to acquiring global evolutionary leadership skills, but really, really so much more. The group coming in is going to be landing a co-creative project in co-creation with the impulse as well as with others within the same sector, within the same area of their heart's desires. Bringing a project out into the world, creating and visioning that project. So if you are someone who is hearing the calling, who is really, really feeling that calling, we would love to invite you to join us. And we're so excited. If you could see the excitement that we have when we're together as this is all unfolded, because we've experienced it ourselves and we've let this unfold, this project unfold. It's going to be 12 weekly live sessions with you. So many of the sessions that come up these days are on recordings only. But we felt very strongly that we were going to be with the participants every single step of the way. So the live weekly sessions, and of course there will be recordings for those who have to miss a session. We're going to have weekly, we call it not homework, but home play assignments to just really help to further align your new genius step by step by step. We're going to be with you side by side. You're also going to be with your peers in co-creating. We're just really bringing the curriculum into action and aligning you with your own new genius and with the collective new genius. There's also going to be small group mentoring sessions as well. There's going to be whole spectrum leadership, integrated processes, peer-to-peer coaching, live streaming sessions, a lot of engagement within a private collective. We will have our own privately managed Facebook group space. And most of all, and what each of us has found and what we bring in is this very intimate collective of like-mindedness, of the resonance at this level, at this higher level, bringing your genius from your authenticity all the way out into co-creation and out into humanity and out into the world. This is, for years and years, my private students and for all of us in our coaching practices have heard that people have wanted. We're really at a place, within our species right now where we're ready to join genius and and feel that synergy and bring those projects out into the world to vision them. So we're starting in just 2 weeks, and we're going to get to be together for 12 weeks of synergizing with others, co-creating, a project that you want to launch in the world, starting November 5th in the Northern Hemisphere. And because we are very global, we have Thursdays in the Northern Hemisphere, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And then in the Southern Hemisphere, it will be November 6th. And it's going to be Fridays there, 11 a.m. in Australia, and 1 p.m. in New Zealand. And we're lining up to get started. We're literally chomping at the bit. We are ready to launch, our next level chapters in 2021. And we invite you to be with us. And I'm going to pass it over to Grace now for a few more details. And Grace, you are on mute.
Yes. Thank you so much, Sheila, and thank you for just sharing some of the details and our passion to serve. That is really the catalyst that birthed this program. And as Barbara, our illustrious leader, would say, every crisis is a birth. And we all just aligned with what it was that we were all feeling so deeply, and just feel into if this resonates with you. Like I said, I've been an entrepreneur for over 40 years, and I just had a deep yearning to co-create with other like-minded souls. And I know that was Barbara's yearning, which is why she brought this academy together. And I just want to read this beautiful quote from her one of her 26 books. If you're not familiar or have not read any of Barbara's books, they're available. And this one is just beautiful. Conscious Evolution, Awakening the Power of Our Social Potential. And this quote came directly from that book. This vast vision of the next stage of our evolution may at first seem beyond us, but our participation in the quantum change starts at home, in our personal lives, in that infinitesimal yet momentous flick of a decision to say yes to our unique potential. I just got God bumps. I just love that. She just absolutely just put the icing on the cake and really brought it all home. And what this invitation is right now is to extend, if you are feeling this yearning for deeper conversation with like-minded souls that are also here in this beautiful space of wanting to be of greater service and greater contribution. And they don't want to do it alone. I think that was the overall arching when we share our love gift at the end of this masterclass tonight. You'll understand that there's language, there's things that get pulsed in deep conversation when your hearts are connected, when your souls are alive. And the other thing is, if you've reached a plateau in your own growth and you're just ready for that level of expansion, this is the place for you. This is what is going to awaken that new genius that's dormant. It's right here with you. It's right here in you and as you, but without the awakening of it and the experience of co-creation, like all of the evolutionistas have shared tonight. And this in collaboration, in co-creation, in community, the evolutionary impulse has a new space to play. And so what we're inviting you to do is to play in our genius playground. We want to join genius to really catapult the solutions for humanity, for the new human that is arising. And we have the ability to be able to co-create a world that works for everyone. And so as you're listening to the impulse in your own heart, and you're looking over the landscape of maybe what's got your attention right now. Maybe you're working on some projects, or you're working at a job that probably has a different landscape now because of 2020. And you know that there's something that's been yearning within you, but you just don't know what it is, or you just don't know how to bring it into form. And it's felt either isolating, or it's felt daunting. It might have felt overwhelming. I know for me, that's really what was happening. There was, I knew I didn't want to create another business. I knew I wanted to play and co-create a vision for the future of humanity, for something that on the sector of the wheel, and we will be talking more about the wheel in the 12-week program, because it's something that it was one of Barbara's legacies of love, the wheel of co-creation. And it's such a beautiful way to synergistically bring together genius from other sectors of the wheel that allow this pulse in the center to have an aliveness that's never been birthed before, which is why we're calling this birthing whole spectrum leadership. It is the new genius. It is the new way. It is moving forward into the ways that the new human can interact together in an evolutionary way. So this program, like Sheila said, it's 80 years collectively of our coaching expertise that we've been sharing and loving to being of service in this way in so many different areas and so many different parts of the world, since we're at the Southern Hemisphere and the Northern Hemisphere, and we've been holding this space of just really bringing forth new ways that we can join genius and bring about the opportunities for new creations to come into form. And the pillars are going to help us to take those steps incrementally and expansively throughout our 12-week journey and beyond. I know there's going to be beyond, because the four of us found, we stayed together even after the academy, and we knew that something new was being birthed even as we continued to collectively stay together, which is, the other thing that Barbara was so strongly committed to was community and collaboration and connection and co-creation. So as you are feeling into, is this is this going to be the way I'm going to be able to bring my programs into life? Is this how I'm going to be able to connect with other amazing, like-minded, open-hearted, wisdom-led, intelligent human beings that are here to really play together at a genius level? That's what this program is here to offer you. So, Aurora, if you'd like to show the next slide.
My goodness, ladies. Wow. A couple of things come to mind. Number one, how exciting for you to find each other. Yes. I can only imagine. I have heard Sheila talk before about the four of you coming together. And to see what you all have co-created is just so inspiring. Congratulations.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Ruth.
you.
Thank you.
And
Aurora, you said that your superpowers became amplified while working in the collective. And I think that's what we're seeing. I'm getting goosebumps saying it. I think
Me
what
too.
we're seeing is your superpowers come to life with the collective between the four of you and what you're bringing together. I think it's exciting that part of your program is that folks going through the 12 weeks end up with a project. That's really unusual for a course to end in a project. Does one of you want to talk about that for a minute?
It's
I'm
really
happy to talk
focus on-
about it. Yes. So it really, what happens in the collective as we're really engaged at such a deep and high level over the course of those 5 pillars and the 12 weeks, there is a way in which your genius bubbles to the surface and really just is, enlivened to show up and to speak up and to really experience itself through you in a way that you didn't even know was dormant, because these are innate powers and innate qualities that you're born with, but without the activation and the inspiration, they just kind of sit dormant, and they sit kind of in this quiet place in the corner of your heart that says, well, I don't think I can do that, or, that's too much for me, or, there's just this doubt and dissuasion and distraction that we each one of us individually can have that experience. But then when there's this amplification, like Aurora spoke into, our superpowers are amplified. You're so enthusiastic about bringing that out and actually creating something with that part of you that has really been in a dormant state, or even just in a lower vibration or a lower level of service, that you're finally and collectively, through the evolutionary impulse and through all of us collectively coming together and joining Genius, there's this confidence that is brought to life.
And I know we are so short on time here, but Sheila, if folks want to take this course or learn more about each of you, how do they reach out? How do they find you?
So definitely click the link that Ruth, that you posted on the page, and I think there's a link to a lot more information. There's a whole information page for them to go to. So if you expand the more info part of what Ruth has posted, you'll get to a page that has lots of information on there for you. We are starting this week. So Ruth and I connected just recently, and she said, I would love to let people know about it. We're actually starting, it's Monday now in the Northern Hemisphere, Tuesday in the Southern, and we'll be starting in about, 72 hours, just in a few days. So we would love to have you with us. Bearing in mind that your unique genius is yours. It's recognized and identified by you. It's cultivated by the group, but your project is going to be, whatever it is that's arising from you too, with all of the support and the coaching to go with it. So we're ready to go. We invite you to come in to be with us. Click the link. I think Ruth will also post the link in the comments below on the page as well, in case you miss it in the post. And contact us at hello@theevolutionistas.com with any other questions. we'll get you on board. We'll get you into our private Facebook group, and off we go. We're ready. We're ready for it now. Ready for you.
Thank you. And so, ladies, I do need to release the channel here, but Janet, Pleasance, Aurora, and Sheila, thank you so very much for being here with us tonight.
Thank you,
Thank
Ruth.
you so much, Ruth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and to all the viewers as well. Many blessings.
Look forward to seeing you with us.
Bye, everyone.